because I was at one point. We're trained to be. Why doesn't everybody know
Hey
how to
there.
swim?
All right. In case anyone is curious, my ambient status is maintenance of a high happiness set point. I'm a happy person. I am simultaneously happy and conscious. My consciousness calibrates at a level that I'm not going to go into, but feel free to test it. If you know the parameters of testing on the calibrated level of consciousness, Hawkins says, number one, don't presume an outcome. Don't want something to be true. Let go of your previous biases, etc., and then muscle test it, and you can find out. I'm confident it's over 300. Okay, so I'm simultaneously happy and conscious. One may develop a higher happiness set point. In other words, you're happy, you're sad, you're angry, you're mad, you're glad. Different things happen to different people. And you're driving down the freeway and some blankety blank person cuts you off, and then you're prone to anger. It doesn't mean you're bad or wrong or stupid. It's just how we react. And we are conditioned to react to outside stimulus. Okay. And it is possible, I promise, to overcome that, to rewrite your ambient level of consciousness, your ambient set point. And by ambient, I mean, okay, if I'm here and everything troubles me and I'm just triggered by the news, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and I'd like to be here because up here, pardon my pop and boom shield, then and I would feel better that way. You can do that. Okay. One of the things that I've learned is how to help other people elevate their own consciousness. Yes. Okay. So, and I'm offering this for, $20 for a 30-minute Zoom session. See my other videos. I mean, this video is to specifically address the idea that I came across this morning because there's bad stuff that has been revealed. There are things that are not preferred being exposed to the awareness of the masses. There are things that, golly, I thought that was this way, and it turns out to be that way. Health-wise, regulation-wise, et cetera, et cetera. I'm speaking to you as a participant in the United States of America. Okay. So my friends overseas have similar concerns. I mean, folks in Canada, anyway. So, cutting to the chase, how in the world could one be conscious and aware of all this caca that has been going on secretly that we weren't aware of, and now we are aware of it? And just how could that not trigger us and just becoming outraged and rampant and unhappy and yelling and screaming and being unhappy and telling everybody else how wrong they are? When one raises their level. Okay, here it is. I've told this story 16 times. You're on the 50-yard line. You got great seats at the players level. You look right out there. There they are. They're right there. You could see the mole on that guy's left cheek. It's great seats. Then they move down to make a score in the goal stand, and the guys up in the press box have a better view. They can see the entire field. Plus, they've got closed circuit monitors showing what does it look like in the huddle? What does it look like in this? What does it look like in that? And they have different perspective. Some would say better. As one elevates their consciousness, they have an elevated awareness. They see more than they did before. You're aware of more than you did before. And when you are aware of more, then your perspective changes and your need to judge, need to condemn, need to call out this terrible stuff that's going on diminishes. Because as we develop the capacity to understand, first is forgiveness. Yes, practice forgiveness. Learn how to forgive. I've written chapters in my book about forgiveness. Then, once past understanding about forgiveness, then you can understand about understanding. That in fact, these people, these others that we have not appreciated because they behaved in such despicable ways, were doing the best they knew how at the time. Well, how could they not know? Because they didn't. When you were 2 years old, someone could have handed you a test tube full of anthrax or hydrochloric acid or whatever else, and you wouldn't have known what to do with it. Does that mean you were stupid or wrong or just ignorant?
Okay, we're going to try to record this. Works or does it? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Stop.
What else do I want to cover? A way of being in the world. In the world, but not of the world. Anyway, I love you. Absolutely willing to help anybody that ever asks. And just to clarify, when I post things that are like, oh, look at this egregious thing going on, maybe you should be aware of it, I don't mean that this should trigger you to become depressed or homicidal or angry or whatever else. It's just something to learn. And if you can return to a habitual or ambient state of consciousness where, yeah, there's stuff going on, I don't have to react to all of it. I could respond to some of it if it's appropriate. Because I was at one point, we're trained to be. Why doesn't everybody know how to swim? Why would anyone make a video about swimming? Why would anyone want to expose a lie? I won't tell you what you should believe. What each of us believes is a combination and a compilation of our experiences, our knowledge, our intellect, our understanding, things that we have been told, things that we have seen by experientially knowing them. So what about these three big lies? My name is George, and why did my idiotic ego want to make this video? Well, because I got the idea that there's people that are still afraid of these things. When we were little children, infants, put them in the water, they just swim automatically. But what happens when a toddler goes too near the water? The parents, the adults all, free. Oh, you should be afraid. Oh, they go and rescue the child, even though they might not be harmed. Okay, we're trained, we're conditioned to believe what we believe. And our belief systems aren't always useful for us. So, the big three. Number one, death. All right, you can Google about this. There are umpteen videos about people having near-death experiences. There are scientists who explain what's going on. There is ample evidence, and I'll put some of the stuff in the background here. I'll put some captions on this to understand that what you and I are is a field of consciousness. You don't have to believe anything that I tell you, by the way. Probably should have started that with this. 3, 2, 1, go. Number one, you need not believe anything that you see in this video. You are not required to believe anything I tell you or any of the scientific evidence that you glean on your own. You believe what you believe because of your experiences, because of what you've been told, and because, thank God or thank Source or thank yourself, you've developed some critical thinking skills. And those are useful for us. Okay. You don't have to believe anything I tell you, and we've all been lied to by well-meaning people. They forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. I don't know what. One thing I can tell you for sure is
You don't know what you don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I've learned a few things. Number one, this idea and concept of death and dying is overrated, misconstrued, misunderstood. And as Lucy said in the movie, Scarlett Johansson played the character, nobody ever dies. Nobody really dies. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Energy exists. You exist. If you are observing this video, you exist. And you're sentient. In other words, you think. But let's just focus briefly on the idea of death. The idea that you cease to exist when your body dies. Your religions have taught you this, that you don't. Those of you who have a background in Christianity, which I do, have read that, fear not, little flock, it is your Father's pleasure to give you the kingdom. You have also probably read that he that believes in me shall not die. You've probably researched someplace and found the idea of eternal life based on beliefs. Now, you probably don't believe in a white-haired, bearded fellow who lives in the clouds with a lightning bolt ready to zap you. That old idea of a God sitting on a cloud is pretty much not believed in anymore. But we've had beliefs programmed into us since we were little children. And one of them is that we should be afraid of death. Personally, I had an encounter with death, gosh, maybe 50 years ago, long, long time ago. I was in Oakland, California, or San Francisco, anyway, and I was performing a duty there, and I just had a face-to-face experience with death. The short version was that we looked at each other, and it wasn't my time to do that now, and okay, all right, be on your way. Anyway, so I went on with my life. Now, I've done a lot of studies, and you can too. Again, near-death experiences, watch the stuff, Google the stuff in the background. All right, so you don't cease to exist. Energy changes form, okay? You take some wood, you set it on fire. After a while, the wood's all gone. There's just ashes. What happened? It changed into heat energy. It burned up, it combusted, it revised itself. You take some water, put it in a pan, put it outside all day. If it's a bright, sunshiny day, there's less of it. What happened? It changed form. Okay, that's what we do. Now, we're experiencing physicalness. Okay? All right. So by now, there's been enough, I've had enough time to put stuff in the background to help you understand that if you believe in death, well, you'll have a different experience than I will when you leave your body. I love you so much. All right. So your consciousness, your awareness, having an experience as a human, having an experience, having several experiences. I'm having an experience now. You're having an experience now. We're going to keep doing that. And guess what happens after you die? Do the research. Okay. I don't claim to know. It's different for every human because we're all different. Thank God we're individuated, which brings me to my second big lie and misunderstanding, the fear that I had of being homogenized. I had this idea that, okay, there's God, and we are offspring of God, particles of God, individuated manifestations of divinity, having a human experience, going through time, having our experiences, and at some point we die and return to God, whatever that is, whatever source is. And the fear is that this thing that we call God is nebulous, infinite, and we're uncertain about it. But if it's infinite and nebulous, what if all we know after we leave the body is, I am, but that's all we know? To me, that wouldn't be enough. Okay, it would be incomplete, inadequate. I can't imagine, I can't foresee, I can't believe in the idea of leaving the body and all I have after that experience is I am, because I'm absorbed into this big homogenized stuff that's all good, it's all loving, it feels great, wonderful, etc. But that's all there is? No, not all there is. And all your religions teach this. And you can find out on your own. We go deep enough into meditation, it's just, okay, there's nothing. But hang on, because there will be something. Your mind will create it. Thank God. All right, so we don't get into this homogenized soup. The third fear, the big one, is, well, what if I don't die, but something bad happens? Folks, I hope you're sitting down. Your tray tables and seat backs are in the upright and locked position. Bad things are going to happen. Uncomfortable stuff is going to come into your experience. You can perceive things as being negative. You could be harmed. You could suffer. You know, I've heard that problems, difficulties, and things like that are mandatory. Suffering is optional. The way to change, I've been preaching incrementally changing what you think for, I don't know, 10 years, 12 years. That's the way to change what we believe, change what we're thinking. Do the research. Do the research for yourself. You can believe me, but hey, I'm just a guy and I could be wrong. I don't think so. But Google some of the stuff that's showing up here, okay, in the background. Some of this stuff that I've added annotation-wise. I love you. That's pretty much it. Hope you have a great day. I hope, it is my hope that you thrive. It is my sincere hope that you come to understand at least an inkling while you're in a body, at least a little bit of how much you are loved, and certainly not by just me. God doesn't need worship, okay? God doesn't need anything from you. What God is, in my experience, again, you don't have to believe it, is nurturing, helping, healing, providing for, protecting that qualia, that situation, that circumstance, that force, that energy that is always there to help you, always wanting to help you. Now, we can fight it. We can disagree. We can go, oh, no, not for me. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve this. We can believe that you're a sinner. There's the thing. I'm going to continue this video for a little bit. Where I live, it says ABC. A, admit you're a sinner. B, believe in Jesus. C, call out his name. That's it. Nothing about repentance, nothing about changing your behavior. Just do that. You could just believe your way to happiness. Well, you can. I'm not going to go into great detail about how productive that is. Our behavior gives us our circumstances. What we see and experience is based to a large part on, yes, the collective consciousness, yes, outside influences, but also to a huge degree how we behave. And our behavior is influenced and predicated upon our beliefs. And what's a belief? A belief is a thought you keep on thinking. It can be so ingrained in you and in your psyche and in the warf and woof of you there behind your eyes. I believe X. Whether it's true or not, if you believe it, it's true for you. See, we're conscious beings having a human experience, and according to your belief, it'll be done for you. According to your faith, it will be done for you. To you, okay, you can look at it that way. On you, yes. Okay, for you, through you. We are in the image of God, source energy. We're created, we're individuated manifestations of what we emanate from. What do we emanate from? Well, in my belief, and I've done a heck of a lot of research on this, what we emanated from is a source of nurturing. In a word, parenting. Creating, yes. Providing for, protecting, succoring, nurturing, comforting, everything good. It's what we are made out of. Now, how come we're not always good to each other? Because we have learned by living in caves and having tigers after us and other tribes that came at us with sticks and stones. Okay, it's in our DNA. We need to be afraid of stuff. Okay, this is now 2025. Whoa! So long sermon, but my point being, we don't have to think the same way we've been thinking. We can revise our thinking. Incrementally, practice makes permanent. So begin, do the research, expose yourself and your thinking to newer ideas, like, for example, that people leave the body and they don't lose consciousness. They come back after being clinically dead for, let's just be real conservative, say 10 minutes. Okay? There's evidence that people have all their blood removed, their heart stopped, there's no activity in the body, no EEG, nothing going on in the brain, nothing going on in the body, dead by all scientific means of testing, and their body's revived, and they say, okay, here's what happened while I was dead. That's kind of cool. So you don't go into a big soup and become unidentified. You go and you have your individuation. We don't lose our identities. Thanks to Neville Goddard, thanks to a bunch of other teachers, okay, you don't lose your identity. You don't stop being you. I won't stop being me. I won't be absorbed in this big mass of homogenized soup. Thank God. Thank my higher self. Thank Jesus. Thank Christ. Thank all the teachers of forever. Thank you, Source. And thank you there behind your eyes for participating with me in this little excursion into critical thinking. I love you so much. All the best to you and yours. Bye.
Okay, I alluded to this in the video, and it's bonus material.
I didn't come up with this. I heard it on a video the other day, which I recommend for people. Learn. There's so much information that's available free, zero cost to you if you have access to the internet. YouTube videos up the wazoo. So anyway, the person was asked, okay, can you tell me or explain to me how the mind can comprehend God? What is God? And the answer was short, like this. I'm paraphrasing. The mind, the human mind, the brain can't comprehend. The human mind, it's too big. God is beyond comprehension for your limited ability. Not because you're stupid or ignorant or dumb, but it's just the way things are. You can't necessarily know with your intellect, but you can feel a bit of what God is. And how do we do that? Here's your bonus. Want to feel. God, I love you so much. What God is. Open your heart to everything, everyone, everywhere, every time, everything. Just open your heart and feel. Anyway, I love you. Send me an email. You know I'm here to help. That's what we're about, serving. Love one another. Bottom line. So what's the bottom line to the whole thing, George? Love one another.